Part 2 of episode sexy 6. Sexy 6. Why is it sexy 6? Because in this whole episode of Tablet Talks, in the 6th episode of Tablet Talks, this is our first tablet where we are not only going through all these transcriptions and transmissions from me, but also from my cosmic collaborator, Seshat. So the point of 6 as a number is that we are all having sex within ourselves. Sex, 6, is just the combination of masculine and feminine. So every time you create something as a spirit, even when we're talking about like creating 1, 2, 3, or 4, or 5, like those are all still 6. So the point is like it all leads up to 6. And the ultimate 6 is spirits having sex inside of themselves together. So then that's where we get the ultimate desire in the universe, sex. And sex is just finding people, a spirit creating a situation where instead of them just having sex internally, the way that they have sex with themselves internally and then manifest it externally creates the arena for other spirits to come and have sex with them. And this is how we build worlds in general. And this is just, how we create life. All of us as spirits are alone. And then it takes the spirits who have sex in themselves so passionately that they actually create life on their own. So then all the spirits who don't have sex with themselves in the way that they want to have sex with the spirit who creates life well. That's where we get episode 3 with Daniel Rama Hoffman educating all these women how to become infinite based on how they unify with me and get to source consciousness and worship me till the end of time. So this is what that's all about, spirits having sex within themselves. And if you don't like the way you have sex within yourself, then you're going to want to run away from that and have sex with another spirit. And then that's where you can create a body and get into an abusive relationship where this spirit has sex with you in a really aggressive, not fun way, or just in a way that you don't like. But it's still better than the way you have sex with yourself when you're alone. So this is how people find themselves in incredibly abusive relationships. Or just relationships where they're not happy, but they'll stay in them. And it's only then on a subconscious level that they are less happy alone. So misery needs company. And that's something you're going to see in all realms and realities. Negativity is such a suck. Like, people who are miserable, most of the time are not trying to fix their misery. They just want to spread it. And their idea of fixing it is spreading because they feel temporarily better for spreading their negativity to you, for casting their sins onto you. But now it's just you feel worse. You have their weight and they're still them. They're still going to keep creating the same negative demons and stuff inside of them. So you trying to accommodate that is an unsustainable situation. So if you find yourself in those kinds of relationships, mediate yourself. Mediate yourself. I'm your author. I'm your host, Tehuti Trismegistus. This is Tablet Talks. All right. So this is everything. Everything in life is sex because everything you can see resulted from a spirit joining their masculine and feminine. And that's where anything you can see resulted from you joining your masculine and feminine, even if you forgot. But the fact that you have thoughts and feelings and then you communicate, that's you having sex. The moment you pick up your phone, you had a thought, I want to look at my phone. And then you felt like, I'm down with that. Boom. Now you're congruent. Because if you have a thought like, I want to look at my phone, and then a feeling like, no, I don't know. Well, now you're not congruent and you probably won't look at your phone. Because even though you had the thought to look at your phone, you didn't actually feel like it. Your feminine didn't marry your man in that thought. So you didn't actually take action on it. Right? So this is why men require women to support them, because thoughts require feelings to nurture them. Because a thought is just a hyper-specific feeling. And then that's where we get into elements where thought would be the earth and feelings would be the water. And we know that earth plus water is actually life, or wood, I guess. So, welcome to episode sexy 6, sexy 6, because this is about me and my cosmic collaborator spreading wisdom. So Seshat, yeah, this wife stuff, very Freemasonic, and the whole concept of marriage, I've hated it my whole life. My whole life. My whole life. It makes no sense to think like, okay, so once we're finally invested in each other and we have a good relationship going, let's get the white supremacist government who only works to murder and eliminate indigenous peoples and steal spirituality and enslave everyone involved on their systems. Let's get them involved and let's sign our love into a contract. And then that way we'll be what? Better in society? So every time I talk to adults growing up where I'm like, why are you married? Like, why should I get married? Because that's, all Disney would push on us as kids. And all adults would talk about like, oh, gotta make sure you find the right girl. And it's like, hypothetically, let's say I do find the right girl, right? Let's say Chase Clarence Calloway somehow meets a girl who is actually not racist. She actually fasts. She actually likes to work out. She's actually adventurous. She's like very fun. Like she's actually like in congruence with all the things that Chase Clarence Calloway is, in a very harmonious and helpfully awesome way for her and everyone involved on some tourist stuff, okay? Because we're trying to create life, not just have fun, but create the opportunity for others to have fun. That's what's fun to me. Creating the opportunity for others to have fun. That's fun. Not having fun yourself. Because I can be in my alone realm, dude. I can be flying around the whole universe, doing everything I want, just having fun. Best believe that. But if I know that people in this dimension, if I know that anyone else is not having fun, and I know that there's something I can do about it, then that kind of weighs on my Virgo heart. And I can't not think about that. And then I can't have fun. So then that's where like literally it's hard for me to just be out dancing at like a cosmic disco when I know that, and I'm going to say most of the universe, but so much of the universe is being consumed by a white supremacist genocide. And it's totally like not most or even some. And really, the universe is constantly expanding. So the point is, wherever you are is where you're supposed to be. Because that is what your spirit chose. And if you have not killed yourself yet, then the feeling of being here is way stronger than the feeling of not being here. So clearly, you've got some important spirit duties to do in this body. Because this is the point of us being spirits, not being our creations. We have freedom. The moment we believe we are our creation, someone can trap us. Like the moment I believe I am Thoth, instead of just using Thoth to express my natural self, then that's where I get messed up by white supremacy, who comes up and steals everything that I've done and uses multiple languages to just like filter all this actual wisdom out so that they can teach you lies with my name. Pretty wild. So let's see here. Chapter 2. Wisdom can come from unexpected places. From Tablet 3, verse 2. In the original translation from the Atlantean language, Thoth said, "Be thou not proud, O man, in thy wisdom. Discourse with the ignorant as well as the wise. If one comes to thee full of knowledge, listen and heed, for wisdom is all." Yeah, see, and here's the thing, because I'm just kind of on this right now, since like relationships are a big part of this tablet talks now, since we're finally getting into Thoth and Seshat. It is so important that you love being alone. So important. And again, that's everything that I was talking about in the Daniel Rama Hoffman's translation of my text. So it's the Tablets of Light, and the Tablets of Light of episode 3, where she is only catering, and it's just like 300 something pages of fluff to convince spirits that they're not supposed to like being alone. They are supposed to be unified with me. And if they haven't been happy up to this point, it's because they forgot that they were already married to me. It's Thoth. And then it's like the only way that would resonate with you is if you had that desire anyway. So this is the thing with relationships. If you don't love being alone with yourself, if you don't love being by yourself, why should anyone else love being with you? If you don't want to be on your own, why should anyone else be with you? If you do not want to be alone, why should anyone else be alone with you? This was something that organically incredibly pissed me off in art school. And I was talking about it with everybody. I would like call people out where, and sometimes like it would get points where I'm just at parties and people like everyone's lit. So of course we're inebriated. So the truth has to come out. And people are just like talking about how unhappy they are when they're alone. And like all these art kids are bonding over this. Like I specifically remember there was one party where all these like kids were just bonding over about like how unhappy they are when they're alone and how they just like get sad for no reason and how like life is hard and how literally if they couldn't interact with other people, then they would be depressed and all that. And it's like, I get that humans are biologically meant to communicate. That's the point. As a spirit, you didn't choose to be a human to isolate yourself. That's not human. You would then just stay a spirit. You would be in your alone realm. You didn't get connected to this body of water and then have all these cells rely on communication and chi and build this structure just for you to be here alone. That's impossible. The moment you're in a human body, you can't be here alone. So many things are working for you to keep expressing yourself here. It's incredibly rude. It's incredibly rude to feel like you're alone when you're a human. And it's like just saying, to your body, because again, your body is trillions upon trillions of other spirits and cells like working together just to keep you alive and keep giving you the opportunity to express yourself. Are they getting something out of it? Everything's a two-way street. I mean, that's the point. They're fulfilling the space because they're in resonance with your journey and who you are as a spirit. So it's just like if you don't love being alone, no one else should love being alone with you. And I would tell these art kids that, like, when these, specifically in this situation at this party, when these people were like, oh, I would never really be happy if I couldn't really talk to people. I hate being alone. I specifically remember just asking loudly this, like what I'm saying right now, but in a question. And this is when I really started to just develop this and like get more in my bag of who I was after like, because college was my first time really getting to socialize on a daily basis with people outside of a white supremacist controlled system, aka high school. College was still that white supremacist controlled system. It just didn't want to appear like white supremacy. And so it appears super tolerant. And then they call it liberal arts. And then because college is also like, you have way more freedom, you get to interact outside of class. It was my first time being away from home. That's, of course, where all the socializing really happened. Hence the party. And hence me asking these people, like, yeah, why do you think anyone else should be alone with you if you don't want to be alone with yourself? Yo, silence. Just dead silence. Like, I love it because there are many points in my life where people just be going on something and I'm like just there listening. And I guess like looking back, it's me being a Virgo, just being mutable earth, like figuring out one statement to make that will perfectly hit all the different viewpoints that are interacting here. So I'll just be there silently, forming into a clay thing based on all the ideas people throw out. And then once I finally have like my fully like formed, like it's water, right? Because Virgo being mutable earth, it's forming to the environment. So like that's what water does, but it's, not like water doing it. So water forms to the environment, clay forms to the environment. So Virgo is more like clay in that regard, where it will harden over time. But if you put water on it and then keep pressing in certain ways, you can't move it. Whereas Taurus is like, that's a stone, that's fixed earth. You can't move. You're not going to make any impression in a Taurus at all. So as a Virgo, I just be there in these situations, like listening to everyone be like, all right, boom, and then ask this question. And just to like ignite conversation, but a lot of the time, like people wouldn't answer the question because the question kind of answers itself. It's actually really funny. I really have not gotten an answer to, like, I've truly been met with silence. I've truly been met with silence from that question. People don't really know what to say. Um, when they're just complaining about how they hate being alone, but they want to be with others. And I'm like, why should anyone be with you if you don't want to be with yourself? They literally like I see their body language shit every time. Yeah, that's hilarious. So this is just a plague of Earth. And this is how negative realms are created. Because we're all creating life. It just takes spirits who feel like they're not creating life, who hate the way that they internally create life. So they want to create a circumstance where they feel like they're not creating life. So that's where you get, when you just meet someone who's wildly negative and they are demonic in your eyes, or like they're creating all these issues, like if they're the source of all their own problems, and like everyone can see this, and like people even talk about how chaotic this person is, then that's a very clear example, a very clear, shining, bright example of a spirit who hates the way that they have sex internally. So they had sex just enough to create this external body where they can feel like they're not having sex internally to create life. And then that's where you get the super religious spirits who feel like life is being created for them. And they don't actually want to take responsibility for their own actions. And instead they're like, oh, well, everything I've done was actually being the extension of this greater thing that has nothing to do with me. And I don't really know, but it lets me keep doing what I want to do while feeling like I'm not. And then that's how we get Christianity using rape, genocide, murder to enslave and just create systems of horrible oppression. Horrible and horrible. Horrible and horrible oppression on Black people. So, hey, man, it's like there's so many beautiful girls, so many just awesome women that I would not connect with, did not connect with, and almost like just emotionally can't connect with, because girls hate being alone, dude. Like, I require a woman who loves to be alone. If you don't love being alone with yourself, that you're letting me know you don't love you, and you're letting me know that you don't have an internal life that you're actually proud about. You're not happy about your man and woman being married internally. So then if you're a woman, why should I as a man marry you, quote unquote, or just create water with you, create life with you, have sex with you, join our energies together, when you don't even like joining your own energies together? Because that's like what would trip me up then, when I'm like interacting with these girls in college, and it seemed like college was supposed to be my time where I was supposed to be just hooking up with all these girls. Because high school I wasn't. And of course, society, everything that we hear about college, everything about college, everything that I've seen in TV shows and books about college hypes up partying and sexually connecting with others. So exploring yourself as well based on how you explore others. And then that's what like people are super excited for in college. It's basically self-discovery and all the partying that comes with self-discovery. My self-discovery was realizing that I'm really sensitive to energy. And it doesn't matter how big your boobs are, or how fat your ass is, or how wide your hips are, or like if you've got wide hips with a thick ass and that thigh gap and abs, yo, clearly you've built a cool body for yourself. That being said, if you're emotionally in the energy of, I don't want to have sex with myself, I don't like unifying my own energy, so I want to do it with you, then that's only unattractive. And then it actually becomes clear, like, oh snap, did you just make this body because you need to feel attractive, and this is the best way to connect with other spirits who will want to connect with you? Is like, if you're super unhappy in here, it's easy to like create to me, easy, anything's easy. So it's all about how much you want to, and creating that situation to create the opportunity where you create a body that is super attractive. And now you can easily externalize your problems onto other people who want to join you. They want to be in a relationship with you based on how you fulfill their desire, right? So people who are lost in light will easily keep getting with women who appear attractive externally, but internally they are horrid. They're just they're only hellish, only just like full negativity, chaos, and badness, and just all these other words to describe what you don't want. Because the point is, you see what you want, but then once you consume what you see, you don't feel the same way. And that's just like how the government works. That's how poison works. It's like, hey, this looks good. And then the moment you eat it, you're like, oh, it doesn't feel good though. And it's like, well, it's too late. You ate it and now it's in you. It's in your life. So you should have practiced more discernment before eating it. So when it's talking about discourse with the ignorant as well as the wise, it's just saying like, don't get stuck in your own worldview. Don't get stuck in your own idea of what life is, because anything that you think is ignorant is actually going to be two-way street, something that you're ignorant of. Now, the fact is, wisdom and ignorance are not the same. So people who are ignorant, there's many ways to be ignorant. It is just ignoring, and then ignorant of what? Generally the truth. Because if you're ignorant of lies, well, there's infinite lies to be ignorant of. People create lies to be ignorant of every second. Truth is not to be ignorant of. Wisdom is not to be ignorant of. And that's what we're really talking about here. Thoth's commentary in modern English. There's no need to get into false pride, because you have discovered your wisdom. You can learn from the ignorant as well as the wise. It is when one gets puffed up with self-importance that you miss the gift of understanding. Even the most foolish person has some nuggets of wisdom. Then again, if a person who is wise comes to you and your heart resonates with their wisdom, be still and listen. Their wisdom will awaken further understanding in you, for there are many key masters on the earth today. Even the most foolish person may have a soul contract to be a part of your further awakening. That's facts. These are all facts right now. That's what I'm saying. Like, everyone is infinitely powerful. It's just a matter of if they appear like that or not, and if they're actually doing that or not. But just knowing that they have the potential to be. Don't get too lost in projecting infinite potential into others, because that's how you stray away from projecting it into yourself. Their wisdom will awaken further understanding in you. Always listen with your heart. Recognize truth only with your heart, for only the heart can be trusted. These are facts right now. Seshat contributes her wisdom. Well has spoken my beloved Thoth, yet I would add another aspect. Seek not to find wisdom entirely from the lips of men or those in authority. Ask and pay heed to the most humble of maidens. For in the heart of a woman there is much tenderness, much understanding. That is not brought about by false pride. This is true. This is why most of my friends in my life are women. I'm God of the moon. Most people in my life that resonate with me are going to naturally be women. They're just generally wiser than men. They don't let their ego get in the way like men do. Literally. It's like the two things, like women are actually walking vibrations, whereas like men are like walking thoughts. So like they're actually the ego, and like women are way more the spirit. Way more. For in the heart of a woman, yes, great good and much advancement can be achieved when equal value is given to the female as is given to the male. United wisdom of both male and female leads to a balanced understanding. This contributes to the forward progress of humanity. Bet. So, my phone's about to die. We're going to cut this episode 2 of Sexy 6 a little short, and I'll just see you right here in the third one. We will jump right back in. I'm not about to have a whole debriefing on relationships and the importance of having a healthy relationship with oneself so that they can actually have a healthy relationship with others. Because everything is communication. That's the point. So, shout out my cosmic collaborator, Seshat. We are all as spirits creating the opportunities where we can collaborate with each other. This is the point. We're all individuals, and the only way we can connect is if we express ourselves. I'll see you. Yeah. Ha ha. sexy six.